Well, we are here in Pigeon Forge right now, right off of Parkway, where you can see traffic is backed up quite a bit, and that's because the Rod Run is back in town. We'll kind of show you some of that traffic right now. Now, if we look anywhere in this area right now, sorry about that, folks, if you heard that. But if you're really in this area right now, traffic is really backed up. We just looked at our maps, and it's a lot of yellow, a lot of red roads, really just from all the people coming into town. And as we come back on camera, we'll kind of describe a little bit about what police are doing. So there will be what police call a heavy police presence here. The officers are going to be working 12-hour shifts to make sure everybody is safe out here. They're also going to get help from Tennessee Highway Patrol, Blount County Sheriff's Office, just other police departments in the area, just to make sure everybody is having a good time. Now, we were over at the LeConte Center where the main part of the Rod Run is at. A lot of people were excited. We actually talked to somebody who's from Alabama. It took about a 3.5, 4-hour drive just to get up here. They love seeing the old cars here. I'm actually going to go over here to our right on the screen and just show you some of the cars that are actually just in a Shell gas station right along Parkway here. You can just see just all these cars are coming into town, a lot of older ones, a lot of them having for sale signs, but this is really what's making Pigeon Forge a big weekend, a very busy weekend, along with just the tourists here. And as we come back on camera, we'll also talk about some people who live here locally. We actually reached out to people about how they feel about this. A lot of them say it's an extremely busy weekend. They really can't go out because it's just so hard to get around. As you can see, just people trying to get around as is. A lot of people walking around. We actually talked with one woman who's lived here for 7 years. She said there's the way it's progressed really in the last 7 years, it's gotten a lot busier. It's gotten a lot of to be a younger crowd, and really just makes it hard to move around. They actually had some friends who were planning on coming into town this weekend, but they decided that they were not going to do that. They had heard about the Rod Run being in town. They know how busy it was going to get. So they just really decided, you know what, we're going to go to actually Nashville this weekend, just spend our time there, and then we'll come on Sunday. And again, the Rod Run is in town from right now. It started early this morning, and we'll go through the weekend, so it'll be really busy like this. Some of the locals we actually talked to say roads are really like this from about 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. at night during this weekend. So again, we'll just show you some of the traffic here along Parkway. And again, if you're just joining us, we are down here in Pigeon Forge right now. This is Parkway right here. You can see traffic out here. This is not just your normal tourist traffic out here. This is actually a lot of traffic because the Rod Run is back in town. So a lot of older cars coming into town, a lot of people over at the LeConte Center. We're really excited just to see some of these older cars. We actually talked with a gentleman who came from Alabama. I believe he said Athens, Alabama, where he said he took the 3.5, 4-hour trip. He loves coming up here just to see these older cars. And we'll actually show you that there are other cars here that are not just at the LeConte Center, or also here just at a Shell gas station, just right along Parkway here. You can just see several older cars here, a lot of the hot rod cars, some of them having for sale sign. It looks like this one here in front of us, going for about 15 grand. So hey, if you want an older car, maybe you want to purchase this 1953 GMC truck, you can get it for about 15 grand. But this is kind of the scene right now here in Pigeon Forge. Just a lot of people here outside of the tourists normally coming, people who live here, a lot of people for hot rod. Now again, we will tell you what we just talked to Pigeon Forge Police Chief about. We just had a conversation with him a few minutes ago. He said there's going to be a heavy police presence around the entire city around this event, just because of what happened last year. There was a shooting right after a Rod Run event, I should say, and they really just want to avoid that again, so they're going to get help from Tennessee Highway Patrol, Blount County Sheriffs, possibly even Gatlinburg Police and just other local police stations. But they really want to make this a safe place. They're hoping that it really never gets to the point of where it happens, where that situation of a shooting or any type of crime happens again. But again, they want to play on the safe side. Now, the Pigeon Forge Police Department is going to be working a lot. They're working 12-hour shifts, so they're really going to be working around the clock at this point, just to make sure everybody is safe and having a good time. But we'll kind of just show you again here, over here on Parkway. This is a lot of traffic. Now, people might think this is just traffic from tourists coming into town for the weekend. And there is some tourists, absolutely, but a lot of it is also for the Rod Run event here. It's coming back here for the springtime. A lot of cars out here, a lot of those older cars. That's actually the main event is over at the LeConte Center. That's where we saw several hot rod cars. When we were at the parking lot too, it was just jam-packed. It took us about 10 minutes just to find a parking spot. People having to maneuver any way they can just to get into those parking spots. But really just a busy weekend down here in Pigeon Forge. Again, police going to have a heavy police presence throughout the city just to make sure everybody is safe, everybody's having a good time. We talked to some people over the LeConte Center. They say they're really excited to be out here this weekend. They don't mind a little bit of traffic. They just love seeing all these older cars coming into town. We did talk with some locals again as well. They say, you know, it's really busy right now. It's hard to even move around. Usually after Wednesday hits or of this week hits, they really try not to go out as much just because it's so hard to get around. And when we were looking at traffic maps earlier, just to put it in perspective, just along Parkway here, a lot of orange, a lot of red, just showing how heavy the traffic is. And as you can see, traffic is still pretty heavy. It's been like this most of the afternoon. We got out here right around 11 o'clock, so about 2.5 hours. You can hear people revving up their engines already, but being out here for 2.5 hours, Parkway has pretty much been like this. Just a lot of people on the road here, just, you know, staying pretty backed up here. A lot of people are just still walking. We have seen people walking around. We got some people on scooters, but again, if you are planning on coming through the Pigeon Forge area, it is going to be pretty backed up this weekend just because of all the people in town. But we're going to also tell you more about this. We're going to be talking with some people who live here. We're going to be talking to people who are over at the LeConte Center, and we'll have all that information for you today at 4, 5, and 6 o'clock.